And my mama, Sue Recher. Hey, Mom, how are you?
Hi, Jay. Good. How are you?
I'm great. You're a guest on the Jay Recher podcast. How's that feel?
Well, I am happy to be here. It's about time I got invited.
I've only been on air for a little over 2 months. Oh my gosh. So we're asking for questions for my mom. She's going to answer them to the best of her ability. And
I'll try.
We'll start out with this one, Ma. Can you answer this question?
Well, okay.
I have a great question for her. Who's your favorite son? This is from Ryan Recher.
Oh, my. Oh, that name sounds familiar. I don't have a favorite. I got the two greatest sons in the world.
Ryan, you knew that was going to happen. You knew she was going to say that. Ma, what did you think of me when I was young? When was the first sign? What was the first sign that you knew that I was like really into sports?
Probably when you were watching the Mets all the time and you were imitating all the players' batting stance.
Okay.
And you actually learned how to read from seeing their names on the screen. You would actually go up to the TV screen and point to their names, and you eventually put it together that was the name. I can read that. And you would always copy their stance. And from then on, it was just sports.
And it's pretty funny you say that, because now I watch, somebody was having this conversation with the other day and about TV. I always really liked TV, right? I mean, was I always watching TV at a young age?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And some people are like, oh, man, I don't need TV. I'm like, oh, man, I definitely do. What about wrestling? We had Stephanie Hypes on from the WWE before. What about wrestling? Because Dad wasn't into wrestling. None of my friends.
I don't really know. I don't really know how you got into it, but we were shocked really how much you were into it, so much that we ended up buying you tickets to WrestleMania for your 10th birthday.
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, for me to go to a wrestling match like that, or whatever you want to call it, I did it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. David Terry wants to know, did Jay always have 400 different pairs of shoes growing up?
No, he didn't. That's been the last couple of years, I would say.
It's pretty wild how that happened. I was never really into a bunch of different shoes or fashion like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
I don't know why that became a thing. Benny wants to know, what was Jay's favorite cartoon growing up?
Oh, Thundercats.
Thundercats. Oh my God, I remember that with the sword. Thundercats. Yeah. Oh, and then He-Man and She-Ra was a good one too.
There was a period where you always called Dad He-Man and me She-Ra.
There you go.
Call us Mom and Dad.
Dolan, thank you for the kind words. Hello, Mama Rechi. You raised a fine young man. We love that, dude.
Thank you.
And also David Terry, Mama Rechi should be very proud, Mom, for raising a soul to the earth kind of fella. I think of him as my little brother. Thank you very much, David.
I am very, very proud.
If you have any other questions or comments, feel free, everybody out there, to put them at the bottom of the screen. What about the rest of the Recher family when it comes to sports and seeing my sisters and my brother? Like, it really was a huge part of our life, going to different games and practices over the years, wasn't it?
Right. And like I said, it was from really the time you were born. The first 2 years of Jay's life, we lived with my parents, who were huge Met fans and Islander fans. So there was always a game on TV. And then when your siblings came along and you all participated in sports, so Dad and I and your grandparents always went to all the games. It's just always been a part of our life.
Jeff Taylor, Jay's mom, this is awesome. What do you remember about Jay's first home run? Well, I wasn't a home run hitter, but what do you remember? What are some of the moments that you remember? And we'll just go with baseball and hockey. If you had one moment from me playing baseball and one moment from me playing hockey, what would it be?
Oh, geez, Jay.
Putting you on the spot. It doesn't even have to be a game, but just like, it could be friends that we played with.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that it's really just the camaraderie of it all. Mm-hmm. Like, your friends became part of our family. You know what I mean? Like, just from the neighborhood that you guys grew up in and I grew up in. It's just like a family here, and so through all the sports and everything, we just met wonderful people. We're still friends and family with people, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
Coach Pyle. Hey, Mrs. Recher, say hello to the crew for me. Coach Pyle in the house. Dolan wants to know where you're always in Islip. Central Islip. There's a big
Central Islip, Long Island, New York.
You got that right, Dolan. But yeah, you bring up a good point of sports and the camaraderie of it. And what about some of the people along the way that really made an impact, you think, like kind of helping me out as a coach or as like, just a fellow parent?
Right. Well, first off, your dad, because
Hmm.
you just you just you know I don't know, getting choked up. Uh, you just admire your dad so much and always have wanted to be like him. So you just from day one with the sports with him, and then both your grandparents, both your grandfathers were into sports. So you just always followed them, and then you just had great coaches throughout the years, teachers, and uh, just great people from Central Islip High School.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's just been a wonderful experience.
I want to ask you, because it is International Women's Day, I want to ask you about your mom, grandma, who even to this day is just so supportive, and she'll watch games, and she's a big Mets fan. I always joke around that she calls them by their first name, like she knows them personally.
Uh-huh.
But just talk about like grandma and her role as not just the matriarch of the family, but like her love for sports and how you've seen that over the years.
Yeah, well, she's always, like I said, been a Met fan and stuff, and she just, I mean, she watches the games, she tapes the games, she always tapes everything that you do. She always recorded your shows and everything like that, and even if she's out shopping for the day, she'll come home at night and still watch the game if it was on, earlier in the day, and it's just a very important part of her life. She just enjoys it so much.
What and I always love to, she'd always say like say hi to Ian or say hi to Ron,
Yes.
and it's been great to, what has it been like for you to kind of see me here in Tampa and work with so many, seemingly, and you got to meet guys like Eric Erlinson and Ron and Ian
Hmm.
when you guys came down, but what was that like to be able to see some of the great people from afar that work down here in sports?
Oh, it's been awesome. We like because we love coming down there and visiting you and stuff, and we're just so proud of you. And everybody that we meet that knows you have nothing but kind words to say about you, and it just makes us very proud that you're doing such a great job there, and that people, like you and admire you, and are happy to hear what you have to say every
Right.
day. So,
That is that's an important part of it, because if they didn't care, I'd be kind of screwed. And what
yeah.
is it like now? I know it's so happy to see, my nephew and your grandson Lawson back playing hockey, and be able to see, your nieces and nephews now playing sports. Like, what
Hmm.
is I feel a lot of pride, and I love watching it. I mean, it's one thing to be able to watch your kids, but what is it like when you watch your grandkids?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's like kind of watching you guys all over again. And that's what they say about being a grandparent. It's like it's kind of watching um your kids all over again. You see your kids and your grandkids. So it's
Mhm,
like we get to do it all over again.
mhm.
We go to all their games and everything like that, and it's great. We love it.
What about oh, thank you, Stephanie. Jay is a salt of the earth. Human, treats everyone with respect, speaks ill of no one. Thank you, Stephanie. And I think that's a huge part of the whole thing. And people say a lot of, crappy things over the years, and they say things, they try to bait you into saying things or doing things. And we've seen terrible things on like the text line back at the radio station. And I always try to handle myself in a way that I always feel like my parents are watching. And I always
Hmm.
represented the name on the back of the jersey. I always, that meant a lot to me. um, so that's just, the way I try to go about my business.
Right.
What's the next couple of months, next couple of weeks looking like for you and Dad, you big travelers?
Well, we'll be down in Tampa, Florida on March 19th.
Nice.
Coming down, and we can't wait to see some sunshine. It's been a little cold here, so we're ready. Yeah, that's it for right now.
And we're going to the Valspar
Yes,
Championship
we are.
again. You've been there the last couple of years now, Ma. What have you really? Oh, somebody called. Somebody called right now. this, this has happened the last couple of times that people call in, so we're gonna remove. She's probably. I'm telling you right now, my mom feels really bad. I'm just gonna have her answer this last question, then we're gonna let her go. Um, click back on the link. That's the one thing that StreamYard really needs to fix, is that when somebody gets a phone call, uh, that it doesn't just kick them off the link. And it's happened a bunch of times. It happened yesterday. It happened to Dave Andrewchuk the other day. So this isn't on you, Mom. This is just something that StreamYard's got to fix, that if people are using their phone, there you go.
Oh my goodness, I got a spam call.
Oh, yeah. See, it happens when people call. I don't know
I
why
know. I
it
learned
happens.
that the other day when you got disconnected from somebody.
Yeah. So, yeah, before I let you go, just tell us, your experience at the Valspar and how nice it is for people that have never been.
Oh yeah, I love it, and I'm not even into golf, but obviously you and Dad are very much. But I found it very interesting, and same thing. People there were so nice and everything like that, and it was really, even though it's a long day, it's really cool and it's really enjoyable. Yeah, I
What did you
enjoyed it.
enjoy more? Did you enjoy walking around more or kind of setting up shop at one of the, like, because we always hang out at the eighth
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
Which do you
A
like? What do you
little,
like? A little
well, a
both?
little bit of both. I remember the first year we went, I was extremely tired at the end of the day, and I got really sunburned really bad.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's kind of nice to do both, but believe me, I enjoy sitting a lot more,
You got
than
that
walking
right.
around.
All right, Ma. Well, I love you, and I thank you for
Okay, I
taking
love
a
you.
couple of minutes for joining the show today. Sorry, Ryan, it's not her fault that the phone went out, Rye, but we all know who your favorite is, and it's both of us.
I
But I
love
love you,
you.
Ma. Thank you for everything that you've done. Happy International Women's Day tomorrow, but we wanted to highlight the woman that brought me into this earth.
Oh,
So
thank you, Jay. I love you so much. Thank you to everybody that's watching Jay
thank you very
and
much. All right, Ma. I'll
supporting him.
talk to you. I
All right,
love you.
love you too. Bye.
Bye.